Hey guys, so this video is a recording of a live Facebook and Instagram live that I did with two other experienced MTR operators right at the end of the year as we reflect on 2025 uh, on our businesses, our markets, and MTRs in general. So James Huang, who's in New Jersey, Sylvia Santelli, who's in Dallas, Texas, and then I am in Los Angeles, California. So really, we cover West, East Coast, Central, right? Coast to coast. But yeah, we just have a conversation. You guys get to tune in. The audience asks questions that we answer. But our experiences are similar in some ways and different in other ways. All three of us do. Uh, we manage other people's midterm rentals, whether that's co-hosting or property management, and then some of us also do rental arbitrage. So great conversation. I had a great time, whether we had an audience or not. But I hope you guys find value from it. Check it out.
Do you guys have a good any New Year's plans?
We've been furnishing an arbitrage for the last like 3 weeks.
Oh,
Probably
wow.
have at least another week left. This is probably like our slowest.
Why is it taking so long?
We just haven't been available.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's
So
probably like one of our challenges of 2025, actually.
is it like when you guys do that, are you arbitrage furnishing? Do you feel rushed to like get on the market and start getting income?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are able to like turn the units over pretty quickly, and like we negotiate like rent and security deposits.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
actually didn't even pay our deposit for this unit was $0, and we
Nice.
got 1 month's free rent too. So there's no pressure, but it's more like kind of competitive.
Yeah.
And it like we're in slow season now too.
Okay.
So it's a 3-bedroom, so more vacancy, right? Because it's the larger units. And so it's a matter of like just trying to capitalize and just get that launched so you can kind of like forget about it. So,
Yeah.
Once it's launched, yeah. Arbitrage, you both kind of get into arbitrage. That still makes me a little nervous.
I used to like James is saying, I made like a little competition for ourselves, like how fast can we set up a furnished property? I mean, it was a long time ago. I've learned so much since then, but yeah.
Actually, this year I tried to have a goal to set one up in a week. I guess we got to 3 weeks in the end.
I did one that took about like a week, maybe like 10 days.
Yeah.
I think our record, which it was a 2-bedroom apartment, so less work than a house, but like 3 days we got it set up.
3 days.
It was really literally we're ordering things before we get the keys, so it'll arrive the first day we got the keys, right? Because that's what delays stuff. And then we had a bunch of apartments in that same building, so it was very cookie cutter. So we kind of had the game plan already, like copy and pasted essentially over and over. So yeah, because this was back right before the pandemic. We basically signed 6 leases for 2-bedroom apartments at one time, and we were like, let's get it done. That was fun.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Ours was actually it was an investor that closed on a property, and we were going to start and finish that week. So they got the keys, and it was a 5-bedroom. We tried to do it in a week.
Oh yeah, it's gonna work. Yeah.
Almost. All right. Well,
my Instagram has you might be the first one, maybe.
Abby on Facebook.
So yeah. You could like type questions and stuff like that in the comments or anything you want.
Looks like I have like 3 people on my Instagram live. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 people.
Yes.
That joined.
Incredible.
But, yeah.
You're winning, James.
All the people who didn't make it to the beach for the break, please join us. It's okay. Actually, we've been also using this week to start Stranger Things. We never watched it before, so we're just kind of binge watching.
Yeah.
Nice.
I watched it probably, was it maybe early this year or last year? It's kind of an old show, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll wait just another minute, I guess. And then it's all recorded.
Yeah.
But
sweet. I got 6 people on Instagram.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Okay. Please, we have a Frank, we have a Danny that joined. Hi, y'all.
Is that on Facebook, Sylvia?
Yeah, on Facebook. I pulled it up because I want to see who's.
Cool.
there. So we have a Frank, we have a Danny, we have an Abby so far. Thank you all for joining us. We're doing this for the first time, literally first time a Facebook Live, any of us. So we have learned the ins and outs of some of it. And it is the first time I get to speak with James and Alan. You guys are so used to speaking with each other. Like, give your own show, the James and Alan show.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this conversation and you like this kind of stuff and you want to be part of these conversations, check out our Skool Community. The link's in my bio. Sylvia and James are members in that community. James and I actually co-run the community. But we do live calls where James and I and other experienced operators answer your MTR questions. Great place to connect, make MTR friends. And it's really where I spend a lot of my time helping others with their MTR journey. So hope to see you there.
So, okay, let's get started. It's all recorded. It's not a huge deal. So, welcome everyone. This is meant to be, a trial and a conversation, just a real conversation with three real operators in the midterm rental space in America in 2025 as we move into 2026. And I think there's so much discussion around short-term rentals and those who are investing and how to invest, where to invest. Do I do it myself? Do I not? I don't know what the answer is for all of you, but I do know that that's where I focus on, and at least we can bring a perspective to the table to help everyone make their decisions. I think 2026 is going to be an incredible year for no matter what path you pick in the world of real estate investing. So my name is Sylvia Santelli. I'm based out here in Dallas, Texas, and I actually am a co-host management company here in Dallas that specializes in midterm rentals. And we've been active for about a year now, but I've been investing and managing my own properties for several years. And it's been a super great year. Oh, it was supposed to be my market is Dallas. I actually focus on North Dallas. I focus on single family homes, 3 bedrooms and up. And then we're all going to share our word of the year. And I did ask ChatGPT due to all of our late night talking sessions. And it picks the word disciplined for me this year, which feels kind, I guess. But I think it's correct in the sense that I was being very disciplined about how I wanted to grow and what I wanted to grow. So I will agree with it. I didn't wake up super early to do it. So it's not that kind of discipline, but that's me. So now I'd like to have everyone introduce themselves. Let's start with the East Coast. Hi, James.
Hey guys, my name is James. I'm one of the co-founders of Stellar Housing Solutions. We're based in New Jersey. We arbitrage, we also co-host midterm rentals. We do consulting, we do a lot of things. We offer furnishing services too. And so we are pretty wide ranging in what we do. Sylvia, she may focus on 3 bedrooms or larger. We focused on anything that's 1 bedroom and larger. It doesn't really matter. We just don't really do studios and basements. But otherwise, we'll take whatever that fits and something that can succeed at the end of the day. But yeah, so we have 20 plus midterm rentals over the course of our entire company history. We've probably launched almost 30 units. So we have a lot of experience of just onboarding and just going through the entire process and learned a lot. But yeah, so mostly New Jersey, East Coast, a lot of people that are doing midterm rentals, like all the Jesse Vasquez's and people, they're kind of all on the West Coast where Alan is. But there's a lot of potential with midterm rentals on the East Coast. And so when I did my own little ChatGPT search of what's like the one word that describes your year, it said scale. And I told Sylvia and Ellen, it's like, I don't think that's the word. But then I think what I realized that I learned how to scale in terms of our systems internally and making sure that our operations and systems are good internally in order for us to take on more clients and take on new units and just operate a lot smoothly. And I think if I think about it, that was a big part of my focus in 2025. So yeah, I'd say that's accurate. How about you, Alan?
Cool. Hey guys, I think I see a lot of names I recognize, but if you don't know me, I am in Los Angeles. We do I've done a number of things, but currently we are doing mid-term rental as well as short-term rental property management. It's very similar to co-hosting if you guys are familiar with that. But very quick bio, I got started doing rental arbitrage for short-term rentals in 2017. Pivoted to more mid-term rentals, and then also pivoted to the property management. And we're managing around 34, 35 right now, I believe. Yep. So that's my full-time thing. Love helping others in this space. If you guys know me, you probably know that already. My word I thought of, I mean, it kind of feels cliche, is growth, but it's not like in this industry, we tend to, for better or worse, measure like number of doors managed. So one of the things as far as growth for me this year is not just number of doors, because we've got up to I think like 43 at one point and came back down. If you know, you could take on properties that are not a good fit, right? So part of when I say growth for myself is not just number of doors, but like our business, profitability, my team, and like I don't know. I don't want my team to have like headache properties to deal with, right? So all of that to me is growth. Kind of like James talked about growth in my mindset as a business owner and how I view things, how I maybe should stress more about certain things and stress less about other things. Yeah, so and I'm very excited for next year and kind of making some changes from what I've learned.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Super great. Anyone who's listening in, feel free to write. We're watching comments if you have questions. The way we decided to structure today is going to make it kind of lighthearted, and we're going to talk about the best of the year or the most memorable points of the year. So I'm going to ask some questions. We will kind of give our comments, but if you want to chime in, I mean, you're an operator too of something that might have happened to you. We can add your submission for consideration. So that's how we're going to do it. So best of the year format. Here we go. Round one. Are you guys ready, James and Alan?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Everyone? Okay. Round one is the human side of the business. You guys, in the end of the day, this is about people. It's a people-to-people business. No matter how many bots there are, there's people that need a place to stay. So the first question for everyone, but we will start with James in our group here. Let's talk about the most memorable guest of the year and what made them stand out, good or bad.
You know who the most memorable guest is? Actually, the best guest? The best guest is the one that's been with us for 3 years and never messages us, takes the garbage out to the curb, brings it back.
What?
This is a triplex that I own. Doesn't use the utilities much. Like, I don't know, maybe something's wrong, but like during the summer, so we're in New Jersey, so we get all 4 seasons. During the summer, barely using the AC at all, doesn't really use the lights. Heating bills a little high in the winters, but honestly, nothing. So I don't even know that she even exists, but she's been with us for 3 years.
We're in rent payments though.
Oh, rent is on auto pay, and she sets it 4 days before it's due. And so when you talk about ideal MTR guests, I had that person, and I've had them for 3 years, and she is staying with us for at least another year. I think her current lease ends the last day of December next year. So yeah, that's my best.
I think we can end there. You win.
What a long-term tenant paying minter brace. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Insane. So it is possible, not common, but it's possible. Okay, that's fantastic. I'll go next. Actually, what came to mind for me was also just more about time period of guests. So I've actually really been managing as a co-host just this past year. I've been doing it myself on my own personal properties for years. But this year I had 3 guests that would contacted me and asked to move in within the hour. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So that, I guess it's not a particular prototype, but when you need a place, you need a place. And I think that's also the nature of the beast, of the MTR beast. They need to move in right now.
Yeah. I find people who are new to MTRs, I think, are surprised how quick people, like how, last minute they might move in. People assume that was short term, right? But even midterm. Yeah.
Even midterm. Alan, how about you? Did you have a memorable?
Yeah, I have one. I mean, there's it's kind of, there's negative, positive. Well, the experience is positive, but their situation is a little bit tragic. I don't want to be too much of a downer, but people, we talk about insurance, displacements, and obviously by nature of that, there's always something negative that the family or the individual is going through, right? Why they have to move out of their home. But so there's definitely a positive memory of this older lady. But basically, the sad part is they had a fire and her husband passed away. And so it was just her, getting housing, and obviously, so much going on with her. She had some like nephew, I think, in the area helping her out, but there's so many things. It's like, if you imagine like your grandmother like messaging like, how do you use a smart TV, right? Like a lot of those questions. And then we had a team member. I have a few people local who like go to the properties, who went to help her, and then one of our VAs who does like the messaging, like they told me so many interactions where like this guest just wanted to talk, right? Like we would go over to fix like the TV for her, and then she just kept wanting to talk with our team member, and it's sweet, and just whatever. I think she was with us for maybe 3 or 4 months. But that time period, we were able to, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, a relatively small impact, but just, kind of help her out and provide some hospitality in that time. But I have a lot of fond memories of her, and a lot of stories my VA shared with me of like nice interactions. They would like, we use open phone, so you could see like history. And then there was one time in the text, she said, "I love you" to our VA. Oh my gosh! And then my VA is like, "I love you too." But yeah, that's what I remember from this year.
Wow. Yeah.
Talk about the human side, right? Yeah.
Things. That is a very human side. If anyone made a comment, can you guys just check? Does anyone else want to submit a memorable guest of the year?
I got one from Keith in Facebook. I don't know if you see this one too, Sylvia.
Oh, go ahead. Can you read it?
You got a request for 2 adults, 2 dogs, and a kangaroo. Now, this was in Australia. That makes more sense to me. So, interesting. I didn't know you could have a pet kangaroo.
I did get a turtle. I did a pet turtle this year.
Yeah, that kind of makes more sense.
That makes more sense than a kangaroo.
ESA kangaroo.
Okay, that's super funny. Anything on Instagram? Okay, then we'll move to the next one. Okay, the next question in the arena of human side, we are a human to human business. Most deserve a time when you got a 5-star review and you're like, I really deserve this. Because what made you really earn it? There's so many things that we have to do, and we know guests can get picky, but like one you're really proud of. Maybe they'll start with the West Coast. Alan, would you like to start?
This one I feel like is pretty, it could be pretty common if you're a mentor operator. But, I've heard like in general business, I've heard people give advice, like when a customer wants a refund, give it to them. Like, it's worth having a happy customer. Obviously in this business it's a little different because those refunds can be huge. But we had one, just something I thought of quickly. We had a guest check into a property, and I can't remember if it was like, it might've been one of those things where they needed a downstairs bath. Actually, you know what? They needed something fenced for their dog, but it wasn't what they thought it was. Like they didn't ask us, they based it off the listing, and they arrived, they found out it wasn't a good fit for them. And we were happy to give them a full refund. They stayed just one night. We gave them some suggestions of other properties. And then because it was on Airbnb and they did have a booking, I was surprised later to see they wrote a 5-star review just saying like, hey, Alan was great. The property didn't work out for us, but he gave us a refund. And like I totally didn't expect a review because they didn't actually say. But that, it just positive traction that I felt great about.
That feels really good, right? When there's a negative thing that happens.
Yeah. That's one thing I tell my team, like,
yeah,
if we have one right now, we're trying to turn around, but when you have a guest with a bad situation, like especially if they get really unhappy, if you could turn that around, they could become like your best, like fans, right? And so it's actually an opportunity to get a really happy guest.
I love that. James, any deserve your 5 stars this year? Was there one that you really deserved it?
We had several, but the one that kind of takes the cake is a guest. So we had a unit that burned down. MTR. It was a multifamily property. There was a fire. It was a long-term tenant that caused the fire, of course. or but we no casualties, we're all good. But we had a guest that was there, just husband and wife. They relocated from, I think, like another state with big dog and I think 2 cats. And so they obviously had to get out. And so what we did was, I remember staying on the phone with them, trying to tell them, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to get you into some other housing somewhere. And so I have my VA doing all this work for us, to looking up other Airbnbs. And I said, you know what? Let's put them into a hotel. And then I was like, wait, they have a dog. Oh, wait, they have like a 60-pound dog or 70-pound dog. It's like, oh no, right? Because if you try to do a search for pet-friendly hotels or motels, like nothing. So our VA Melody, she's calling. She finally found some, and so we were able to put him into a hotel for a few days, and we even pay for that stay too. And so
Wow.
this is a multifamily property. So there's another MTR unit that we also had to relocate, and we were able to move them to another vacant unit in the same town actually. Couple days passed, and then the people that we relocated to a hotel, they said, hey, they're gonna kick us out tomorrow, and like we don't know what to do. And so now we're like, all right, let's try to find Airbnbs, message the host to see if they would take the couldn't find anything. And so we had another small multifamily property where one of the units, they had just vacated on the second floor, and the first floor was being furnished as a midterm rental, and also had a basement. They were literally relocating. It's just a couple, husband and wife. They needed a 3-bedroom because they had that much stuff. And we said, okay, you know what? You can go up on the second floor and you could use the basement storage, and we had like this weird parking scenario, but like when the first floor is ready, we're going to bring you down so that you have access to, like all your items and stuff, and all this, like, parking and whatnot. And so we had to take them from one MTR that went through fire into a hotel, into another second floor MTR, and then bring them back down. So we kind of relocate. They stayed in 4 places, basically. Even extended their stay too, because they're trying to buy a place, and there were delays with that. So it ended up becoming a lot of work for a lot of us, and it was traumatic experience for them, right? A lot of times in the insurance relocation housing space, a lot of times like the house already caught on fire, now you're trying to house them, right? We were in a situation where this is literally an active fire, and I'm driving after work to the house, and everything's blocked off, and it was crazy. And so to go through that, at the end they left us the most amazing 5-star review, super duper long, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And of course in the review they don't mention all the the negative things that happened, right? But just focusing on like the quality of service, how fast we responded, we came during a time of need, like over and over, how accommodating we were. Those are the things that when someone leaves a review, people read that, right? And so it's not just a 5-star review that we got, but the quality of the review and what they talked about that really made it for us. And yeah, I felt like if we deserve 5 stars, that was it. But also, honestly, at the same time, if they didn't leave us a 5-star review, I get it,
It would have
because it's like that was our unit that had a fire, so it worked out.
4 times? You helped? Wow, that's way above and beyond. Way above and beyond. Also, if anyone else wants to comment in the comments that's listening about a 5-star review that you earned this year that you're super proud of, please leave a note, and we're watching it. So in a similar vein, there's tragedy involved. It was actually one of my properties, my biggest property to date at that time. We just launched it. It was beautiful. And I was actually really proud because a CFO just flew into town on a private jet to stay at this house. I was very excited. I was like, oh, wow, this is great. And 3 days later, the plumbing, everything got destroyed. The water, I don't even know exactly what happened, but something happened with the plumbing and the water. So we had to move them out, and they had to fly out within 3 days to go to like a sales meeting like they barely were going to be there. And they also had 2 dogs. So I just remember being so embarrassed also. I'm like, I don't know what to do. This is a devastating like situation. No matter how much someone has or doesn't have, it's still unsettling to have your shoes in 2 different boxes. And I just remember being able to just personally also showing up and driving their stuff to the new Airbnb myself, and dropping off food and just making sure that they had the things that they needed. And I also, like you, James, I was okay with a bad review. If that's, I don't blame you for giving me that, but they did give us a 5-star review for having to relocate immediately. And then they even sent me pictures from their resort at the beach a couple of days later. So it just reminded me too that it's people, and like caring really does matter. And that's the industry I'm choosing to be in. And that made me really proud. So
Awesome.
thank you. Did anyone else deserve it?
I did get one Instagram question. Random question, Gabriel Alexander. What's up, Gabe? Random question. Does anyone actually give Best Guest of the Year awards to their actual guest? Cool idea, and maybe something that will help you stand out for reoccurring guests.
Interesting.
I could see that being like a fun thing to put on social media. I mean, do you guys have repeat guests with MTRs? I find we don't get that many of those.
We do.
Oh,
you do.
What type, man?
Well, we do. We also do like B2B type of stuff. So we have people that have stayed with us like 3 times, 2 times, or they'll send a different employee.
Oh, like the company's the same, but not the same people.
Actually, both. We have like companies who send like repeat guests, and we also have people that are so we're concentrated in New Jersey, but we're sort of spread out too. And so sometimes we have one couple. They have been with us for at least a year, and they started in one unit, and then after 3 months they were like, oh, like we want to buy a place, but we don't know where yet, so they want to like stay in different places. So this is their 3rd unit with us, and it's been
holy smokes,
almost like a year, and I think they extended till March or something. But yeah, so we get regular people, but also like companies too.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So I think like this whole nurturing relationships, and also in the Instagram comments, Dunn said that's a solid approach for nurturing relationships.
Yes.
So Dunn does a ton of B2B type in corporate booking and stuff. And I think I would also agree, doing some type of, hey, like surprising people and then giving them something that they don't expect, right? Hey, turns out you are the guest of the year, and this is why, right? All of a sudden they would be like, oh, me, this is really random. Okay, now you're top of mind with that previous guest. And one of the things that we do in our business is we try to, couple times during the entire booking process, we tell them, hey, is anyone else that need this type of stay? Like, even if you're here for relocation, maybe do you know anyone who's here for work, or anyone who is here for some other reason, right? Give them those tools, and that can also help too. And I think in my head, I look at that like a guest of the year as a way to nurture like relationships and create some opportunities.
Cool.
I like it.
Great question.
Yeah.
We had a 5-star, well-deserved 5-star from Andre. Andre had a snowstorm, a big branch fell and took out the power, internet, and the patio cover. And basically, he covered hotel for 3 days for them because insurance didn't cover it. And yeah, definitely they gave a 5-star review. So good job.
Above and beyond. All right. If there's none other, we have actually closed round 1 of the human side of our business, ups and downs, and there's a lot of tragedy, no matter how we slice it and dice it. But it's a choice we're choosing to be here, and we can provide a lot of value. But with people and with those who are interested in any kind of thing that resembles scale, we are now going to talk about operational wins. We're going to talk about the fact that it at a certain point, it cannot just be you and you alone. And it it takes systems, it takes operations, and customizing it for you, customizing it for the way that you work and your brain works. So with that being said, in the MTR space, I know there's a lot of STR in the group too, and that's fine. We're cousins. We're all one big happy family. Let's talk about best amenity or gift of the year, something that surprised you or had a big impact on your guest. As an MTR stay. And again, we're cousins with STR, so that's okay if it is. But did you find that you supplied something, whether it was a gift or it was an amenity at your property that people just were thrilled with? Should we start on the East Coast? Should we go to James?
Yeah, I got one.
I think I know James's.
I was also on Jesse Vasquez's podcast, and we had like a 10-minute segment just on this.
Okay.
But the amenity that I think is underrated, or that I know that had an outsized impact, is having bidets in your midterm rentals. A bidet, if you don't know, is something that cleans you after you've used the toilet. It's connected to your toilet, spray some water, right? It's one of those things, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you're missing out. It's one of those things. To the point that I know, at least with Jesse, when he travels, right, and he books an Airbnb, he only stays in places that have bidets.
Huh.
And so that's not actually far-fetched for people who actually use bidets. And the reason why this is actually important is that this is a specific amenity that Airbnb travelers can filter when they're looking on Airbnb. And so you can click that one button, now you're just 1% out of like 1,000 listings out there, right? When we launched our 4-bed, 4-bath home, single family home this summer, every single toilet had a bidet. One of the reasons why they were actually, those guests were kind of tough, but one of the reasons why they booked us was because we had bidets. They literally said it's actually one of the reasons. Like, in terms of the type of homes that were available, yes, it wasn't there, but I know they said that the deciding factor was the bidets. And we also host international travelers too. And so we have had people ask for it's like a wand. It's like a hose with a wand at the end. So they would request that, and we actually say, no, we don't. We actually have bidets. And they're like, I don't know what a bidet is. I said, don't worry. When you check in, you'll see we have a QR code and instructions and everything too. So best amenity, bidets.
Bidets. Okay. Alan.
I'm just we talked about this before. That's fine. I knew what James would say, but I just added a task to my to-do list. Should we add bidets to all of our properties?
It's it's like $45, $50.
Like, yeah, and I've thought about giving it a try personally as well, because I've heard so many people say good things that you must try it. So there's that. Mine is, I feel like mine's kind of cliche, but I feel like more recently, because it's top of mind, this has come up quite a bit. But I think this is true maybe a lot of, if you're in a bigger urban market, having like dedicated parking spaces, multiple, like a lot of our properties having one space is pretty common. But especially if it's in like a more crowded area with multifamily buildings. We've had a few leads recently, and sometimes they're like work related, where they need more spaces for more than one car, or like just storage space for stuff. So if you have like a garage or like just like some outdoor space that's secure, obviously this leans toward like a single family home. So if you have like a smaller unit, it's a bit harder. But that is something again, pretty common, MTR kind of amenity people talk about. But it has come up quite a bit this past few weeks as far as inquiries we've been getting. And then, of course, we have a few homes. Like we have one home where, for whatever reason, I don't know if the owner did it or previous owner, the whole front yard is just paved, concrete. There's no like grass anymore. But basically, you fit like 3 or 4 cars out there, like big cars. So that one, if we have like a work crew that has trucks, then definitely a great fit for that one.
Nice.
We don't have parking issues in Dallas. Plenty of space to park, but I could see that. Yeah. I will say, actually, the one amenity that's been pointed out. I guess I have one house that has, I guess they have a doggy door in a kind of in a not traditional space. It's kind of more like in the wall than it is in a door. And people just love it. Like, I guess that they just bring it up. It's not an amenity you can like check off, which is very sad. But I just have found that as long as your kid and your dog is happy, like they're happy. So their pup is taken care of and has a cute little door to go through, and they're just thrilled. So I will.
That's cool. I've seen one of those. That's pretty cool. Like purposely built. Yeah.
Yeah, purposefully built. And that house was someone's actual home, so it kind of made sense, right? It transitioned later, and they put it where they wanted it. But any other amenity contributions before we move on?
On Instagram, Dunn said Christmas tree with gifts, which included movie tickets, house slippers, and snacks.
That's so kind.
And I know Dunn does a lot of insurance relocation stays too, so
that's very kind.
That's amazing.
That might be the winner.
Yeah.
That's really kind. Okay, let's go. We're kind of let's go to round 3, our final round, and then we'll just have a few questions and we'll kind of wrap up here. This has been really fun to hear everyone's stories. We are going to do round 3, which is just a reality check, right? Like this is feels good. We help people. We all know, of course, there's other stories that happen. Not, we're trying to make the guests feel good, and it's just it can be a very stressful situation. This is not news to anybody, but with that comes a lesson, right? We're all trying to get better. I know, of course, James and Alan are, right? You guys run a group where you're helping so many people to get better and better. So just for you personally, what would you call out as your biggest lesson of the year? Something that you don't want to repeat going forward. Yeah.
I have one. I can go. Okay. So every MTR operator knows the struggle of garbage at checkout, especially when someone has stayed for, honestly, sometimes even just a month, but especially like multiple months at a time. And at checkout, they just leave a ton of garbage in the garbage bin, put the garbage also in the recycling bin because it doesn't fit, and also elsewhere too. And so this summer, we just had a lot of issues with just so much garbage being left behind. And I remember there was one day in the summer, I didn't have time for it, but I went anyways. And I was just packing up some of like that garbage, putting it in like large construction bags. I was going to haul it home, which I did. Bad idea, by the way. Stinks up your car, even if you like double bag. But like in there, so like the previous guest had pets, had a dog. So there's poop bags and kitty litter and stuff, and like I didn't see that it spilled out, and right, and so I was like, I don't have time for this. I got poop on my hand. Like I gotta drive home with all this garbage. It smells like poop, like in my car. Like no, right? Like this has to stop. And so then you come down to the solution of like, all right, how do I solve this problem? And so you could hire someone out, right, to do curb service or whatever. But then even in these situations, are they also going to separate the garbage out of the recycling? Because you can get fined, especially where we are. And so I decided, you know what, before we do that, what's a system that I can create? And so a good system, right, just to provide some value to the audience, is what I decided was, as part of our garbage rules that we let guests know on day 2, I believe, of their stay, it also includes like the garbage schedule, right? And so we have an automated message that triggers 7 days before their checkout date that says, hey, you're checking out in a week, right? The garbage days are Mondays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and whatever, right? Before you check out, can you take as much of your garbage and put it out to the curb so it gets collected, so that there's less garbage to deal with on the day of checkout? And that one message definitely has helped a lot. Not every single time, but it made a significant difference, so that, we're not just dealing with a mountain of garbage. But that was like a big lesson learned. And I was so mad. I was like, I'm just going to hire this out. I'm going to buy back my time, right? And I was like, sometimes you don't have to buy back your time. Sometimes you just need like a smart automated message.
The pain, right, is what makes you actually take action, by the way. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. Once you're annoyed, there will be action to create change.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll say for me this year, it was about learning, the operations. I guess who I think I can actually help in terms of what kind of properties I can actually help and what kind of owners I can actually help. I think this was a little bit of a lesson. I think I wanted to say yes to a lot of people. I was so excited because, you know, people are trusting me with their properties, with their assets, to be able to let me be the host so that they can go on and buy back their time and do what they want to do with their lives, allowing me to do what I want with my life. And the truth is, I couldn't always do that, right? And there's some restraints that come up, whether it's with the house itself or just personality wise, and I'm just being okay with the fact that I don't think I can help everyone, but I'm becoming a lot more clear on who I think I can create the most impact for, and everyone wins, right? With their time, with their cash flow, and that's been incredible. So I did offboard properties this year with that intention. And that's why I think Coach ChatGPT said I have discipline, was because I actually turned 3 people down this month who came forward, were like, could you please manage for me? And I'm like, I don't think I'm the right person for you. Right.
Yeah.
And then I actually convinced one person to go back and sell their house, because if it's not a win-win for everyone, no one's going to be happy. And so they did, and now they're under contract, and they left me a Google review because they were so happy with their decision to sell. So another thing I was proud of.
Nice.
Thank you.
You know, mine is very similar to yours, Sylvia. I hinted at it earlier. So everything you said, kind of add a little bit, kind of my thoughts there. You know, and for those listening, this is really like a co-hosting kind of thing, right? Or property management. If you guys do this, it's it's like a vanity metric, right? Like especially from the STR world, where like number of doors, how many properties you manage, and like whenever I talk to people, like even earlier today, and I say how many properties we manage, people are like, wow, right? It's impressive. So it could get to your ego. But we've had, I don't know the number, probably between 5 to 10 doors. Some of them were like multiple doors with one client that we onboarded this year, and then either the clients canceled or we canceled on them. And you know, good relationships with everyone, you know, like everything's kind of like, you know, friendly and professional. But really, as I reflect on it, you know, thinking about the new year, there's people, you know, kind of like you said, Sylvia, I want to recommend to any of our potential clients like what I think is best for them, even if it's not nutrimental, even if it's self-managing, even if it's, you know, someone else, you know, I've shared these with other people. Because ultimately, like, this is from the business point of view, if it doesn't go well in some way that's outside my control, they could still kind of feel like it's like, oh, Alan managed it and didn't go well, so like, you know, bad experience, right? It kind of hurts your brand a little bit. When maybe the property wasn't a good fit, or maybe the investor or the owner's goals weren't aligned with the MTR strategy and stuff like that. So I have like 3 questions I ask myself now whenever I have a new lead, like, hey, I want to make sure all 3 are, you know, yeses before going forward with this one. Being pickier about that. Yeah, so that's really like, that is a big focus in going to next year. And a lot of, you know, pain I could have avoided this year. Knowing who you want to serve, right, and just serving them, very important for any business.
Yeah, right. The avatar of the guest and the avatar of the client that we're serving, it does matter, right? Actually, even like Coca-Cola, right? If you talk about like who their audience is, you can't say everyone, because if you serve everyone, you serve no one, right? Even a Coca-Cola ad has a specific audience in mind, depending on what they're wearing. So there's that. Yeah, I'm on the same page, Alan. I agree. Okay, so let's do this. We're kind of in here, been a little while. If there's any general questions anyone else wants to ask, please chime in. Otherwise, I think I'll do 1 or 2 more questions and we'll call it a night. So we are from different markets, and I thought it could be interesting to talk about, why do you think MTR is a unique play for your market, right? STR still happens everywhere. They're same and different. There's certain times of the year. If Taylor Swift comes to town or FIFA comes to town, we might change our strategies. But why did you choose, and why do you think MTR can be a good play for your market? That's the question.
I'll go first this time.
Yeah.
This is not 100% unique to LA. So there's a lot of urban markets like this, but maybe also because we're California. Short-term rental regulations have been strict for a while, but have become more and more strict. So I can give you one example. We had a property in a city called Gardena here, where I think 2024, pretty recently, right, they passed their ordinance that banned short-term rentals. So we had a short-term rental we're managing, and it became a midterm rental, right? If you guys know my story, I started off doing short-term rental arbitrage by Disneyland. Great place to do short-term all year-round demand. But we pivoted to midterm because city by city started becoming more strict. So that's kind of a obvious, short-term's not an option. But the other part I would say that's unique about LA, for anyone here, you guys know this. If you were to, especially with right now, the numbers and interest rates, if you were to take a typical house right now and look at how much it costs to buy it and how much you could rent for as a long term, most of the time is negative cash flow. So most investors here, they're doing significant renovations, they're adding ADUs, they're doing a tear down and redeveloping. That's the only way to kind of invest in real estate and make money here. So a lot of our clients, people I talk to, they have a long-term rental that they've had for years, and they just want some cash flow, right? So it's some more cash flow. So MTR becomes a good option when either STR is not allowed or kind of seems too risky for them. So densely populated, large market. The political climate kind of impacts things a little bit, and how that works out here. I won't get into the political stuff, but housing, it's hard to develop new housing and housing shortages and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of unique to LA as far as like why MTR's appeals to the owners that I talk to.
Love it. Should we do East Coast, James?
Yeah. I think maybe just on like a bit of a different topic in terms of what as like an owner, but I think because I know there are just a lot of the people in our audience that I see are already midterm rental operators that have at least one midterm rental from what I can see. And so there's different ways that you could do midterm rentals. You could buy a property. We also talked about co-hosting, which is similar to just managing someone else's midterm rental. And there's also another strategy called arbitrage, aka subleasing. And there's different words for it too. One of the things I noticed is that arbitrage does not work in a lot of markets. Specifically, I heard that it doesn't really work in Florida or like South Florida because the rents, the MTR rents that you can get, and also the long-term rents that you have to pay, but also the expenses, especially with the AC and the high electricity costs, there's not enough delta, right? There's not enough room for you to make money. But I feel like where we are, doing something like midterm rental arbitrage actually works. And I think we have about 8. We're furnishing an arbitrage right now. I think we have about like 8 arbitrages, and they actually do better for us than our co-hosted units in terms of what our net income is. But that also comes with a little bit of risk, right? You have expenses, you have to pay rent, security deposit, you have to furnish, right? And so there is some balance of that. But I feel like in our market, a lot of the arbitrages do work. If it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, even 3 bedrooms as well. I might be a little bit biased because I also know that like compared to the other operators in our area, our listings are just way better. Our photos, our listing descriptions, our titles. And I mean, like Alan, we teach other operators how to do this. And so by design, we're just able to do better than most people, right? And so I feel like arbitrage actually works, and a lot of people are trying to get into co-hosting. I know on the short-term rental side, STR arbitrage is really popular, and that kind of died down, especially with regulations coming in. But I don't know. I think arbitrage on the East Coast could be something that should be considered for a lot of people, not just in Jersey, but in general, if you're up for it. That's a different take, but yeah.
Different story. Yeah, I didn't realize how much experience actually both of you guys had in arbitrage. Arbitrage does make me nervous. I almost ventured into it at one point, but I just made the pivot. But But yes, there is success. You are surrounded by the right people, right? And for those who aren't in their group, you guys should absolutely be in their Skool group. If we haven't dropped the link, we should, or just follow them. And I'm sure the link is in their bios. And then I'll just say for Dallas, right? Like, of course we know, yeah, we're all three metros, right? Metros where people, wherever there's people, there's a need for housing. There's a need for temporary housing. I think Dallas is interesting in the sense that I know there's short-term rentals here. I just don't think it's really an STR destination per se. I think that'll be changing in the next few years. There's a lot of efforts to establish more reasons to come to Texas for weekend stays. Like usually coming to Dallas because you have a conference, or, right? You happen to know someone and you have a layover. So for those reasons, I think the MTR model is really appealing. Again, same for other markets. And then of course, as the investor, we don't need all the amenities. You don't have to have the hot tub. You don't have to have the accent wall, which makes it a little bit more interesting to start if the design piece is not something you're super interested in going into, right? Because that all does take strategy and that all takes money. To think you just put something on a wall, the competition is fierce in the world of STR, and it will continue to get fierce for MTR. So I think for Dallas, I think it has a unique play because of the amount of growth that is still happening in this metro, moving for jobs, and of course the insurance claims. And that's not just unique, of course, to just Dallas, but I think that as it continues to grow and expand, people do want that space. So even with the 1 or 2 bedrooms, now we're just talking about a different avatar of the guest type. So like my personal properties are under 3 bedrooms, and they do really great. It's just a different avatar type, right? But I actually have the belief right now that and others from Texas might think differently, but I think if you have under 3 bedrooms, I wonder if management's not really the right play for you, right? There might not be enough cash flow in that. It might be the self-managing play, which is to your point, Alan. If it doesn't make sense for you as the investor or owner, I'm going to share that, right? Because it's a long-term relationship we're about to enter. So I would like us to be on honest and good terms. So that's the thing about Dallas. And then also people expect high hospitality down here. So we do our best to, I was just thinking today how I want to put like more horns in all of my days. I want to put more horns in all of my houses.
That's interesting. I visited Memphis. I have some a friend out there, and yeah, like I heard about it, but he was just telling me like, and we went out and about. I'm like, it is different. Like coming from LA, I grew up here in LA, where people are not always the kindest, but yeah, just people. Definitely, the hospitality is different down in the South.
We try to be nice, and then I get to like sneak in. I'm originally from New Jersey, as you guys know, but I've learned to be very nice to everyone, so it worked out for me. Okay, so that's kind of our question about our differences. Do you two have any questions? Are there any other questions? Kind of start to wrap this up.
I see a question here in Facebook. Okay. What other platforms you advertising your properties on beyond Airbnb, Vrbo, or even Furnish Finder? I'll give my very quick answer, but basically those, as far as like listing sites, those are the 3. I mean, Vrbo is like a far third, but that does not mean you should only list on those sites and stop there, right? So you guys probably have heard about like the lead connectors and relocation companies. So I generally call them B2B because they don't go through the platforms all the time. But the wrong way to, especially if you're coming from short term, the wrong way to do mid rentals is put on Airbnb and just wait, right? So it's just one of the many ways. But when it comes to the actual listing sites, the other ones probably are not worth exploring right away. Any other thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, I think if your Airbnb isn't perfect, don't even bother. Like honestly, that's just the game. It's a quality over quantity game.
Yeah, I think especially in I think all 3 of our markets where there's more competition, right? More supply. If you're in a small town and there's only one property, I guess you could get by if there's enough demand.
Yeah, same. Great question. James, are there any questions or comments that you
Yeah,
see?
there was one comment from Gabriella a while ago. What about infant pack and plays, high chairs for MTRs? What are your thoughts on that in your maternals?
I have some thoughts actually. So I kind of have taken a new approach personally when I launch properties, and I only order it if they bring kids.
I like that.
Because most of the people who stay with me don't have children, or it's just one infant and they're bringing all the stuff. So those are so easy to order and so easy to get. So I do put it as an amenity that we have, and I'll order it in 24 hours and it'll be there.
Got it. So they have to let you know if they want to use it then, right?
Well, I can see it and then I can ask them.
Oh, they have kids, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that because, with like Amazon and like these items are relatively affordable. I just see that as you're paying some money to like, get a booking or get a happy guest. That's super easy. We used to do them like back when we were doing the Disneyland play with short term, kind of more obvious, right? Like more guests will have young families. So we had all the stuff in every unit and it was used pretty often. But yeah, with just general MTR now, like to the wider audience, it is kids are one thing, but actual like infant and babies is pretty rare. So we don't stock them like by default. Yeah.
We actually do get infants too and babies. But did you know? All right, let's provide some more value to the audience, right?
Okay.
Airbnb always changes certain things, especially in the amenities section. So now, if you do provide specific infant or child related amenities, now you have an option. Does it come with it? Do you have to pay for it? Do you have to ask for it? And there's different categories. So go into all of your listings. If you have an option to where you can select the host will provide it, but you have to ask first, turn that on. Just turn it on, right? And then it's up to you at the end of the day if you want to provide it, for them or not. We actually do have people that come to the area because they want to see a specific doctor to give birth, or they're traveling with a 3-month-old. I think we're hosting 2 families that literally had that situation too.
Yeah.
But I think the whole concept of we need to have all these infant toys and these things, that's definitely more of like a short-term rental thing, because if you have a family and you're going to an Airbnb, nightmare if it's not child friendly, right? Like corner bumpers and all these things too. But in the midterm space, if you know that you're going to be staying somewhere for like a long period of time, they kind of just bring it, with them. And so I'm on the same side as you, Sylvia. We only just provide it if they ask for it.
And we're happy to, right? Whatever you need, you're going to get it.
Yep.
I agree with you. Awesome. Any last questions or comments? This was really fun, you guys. Thanks for being open to it. We've kind of gotten a chance to know each other this year, and I'm kind of a person that I'm like, I have an idea. What if we do something next week?
Yeah, same.
Right? Let's just see how it goes. And I figured there's always good people around to have a great conversation. So thanks everyone who was able to make it tonight. Any closing words or closing comments?
Sylvia, there's a question from Andrea. I think it's a great closing question. She asked us, what are we most looking forward to in our MTR business in 2026? Good question. Ooh.
I can go first.
All right.
I'm very excited. I feel really clear about the kind of owners I can help, the kind of properties I can take care of. And I think like I've really dialed in a lot of my operations this year. So I think next year, I'm not looking to become the biggest in my market by any means. I think that's the other key thing. But I think I'm enjoying everyone I work with, every guest that comes, every owner, every vendor. And I think everyone is, I think that shows, and everyone's excited to work with me too. So
for me, 2026, we are hosting the World Cup finals, not just the World Cup, but also the finals. And the stadium is in a town called East Rutherford. Our closest units are 2 towns next door. And like a bulk of our units are actually quite close. Would I love to host people that are here to visit, for the games? Absolutely. I would love to host the vendors and the workers and the corporations and all of those people instead. And so I'm kind of excited to move towards that pathway as much as possible. Kind of go into like what makes my market a little bit, special that you mentioned earlier, Sylvia. Where we are, we're very metropolitan. We're really close to New York City, population dense, all types of commerce, every single type of avatar that you can think of, MTR avatar or guest type, they're here, right? Studios work, basements also work. Your 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, they all work. And so I feel like if everyone is getting into MTR space, and I see it in my market, right? I'm also the guy that's like, hey, you guys should all do MTR. So they also do it. And it's like, hey, I'll also help you, right? Because it's all about collaboration, not competition. But if everyone is coming towards the MTR space, that also means like, what is going to differentiate you from everyone else, right? I already know what differentiates us, but then we could also hit even more levels where we are just hosting people like companies and not relying on Airbnb or VRBO or Furnish Finder even, right? Getting those repeat bookings, getting referrals from people that are from our own local community too. And so I'm kind of excited to like move a little bit more towards that. And yeah, and also just like adding more units, but like thoughtfully. I think the both of you guys were very good at describing like how you curate your own profile to make sure your portfolio to make sure that it works for you, but also it's a win-win for the owner too. One of the things that we did a lot on the back end in 2025 was just creating all these systems, beefing up our SOPs, and also our software so that we can take on more good units that fit our portfolio too. So kind of looking forward to a lot.
Cool.
Love it.
For me, like kind of on like the really high level and personal side is really just my goal in my work and my business is the life I want to provide for my family, right? My wife's a stay-at-home mom, so I'm the sole income in our family. So there's a lot of things I'm excited about that, when it comes to like, envisioning your future and your goals that motivates me in what I do. So there's that end. In the more like business side, this is very early stages, so unsure how it'll pan out, but I'm very excited about I'm exploring a new partnership model where it will allow us to go into new markets and work with local operators in new markets, kind of partner together in a different market outside of where I'm at. Yeah, there's just a lot of wins in the sense that I love partnership and collaboration, helping another person kind of create a business for themselves and their family, as well as a way to help our business grow in like a sustainable way. So I'm excited about that and just the potential what it could become.
Nice.
Love it. I love it. All right, guys, that's it. We did it. Thanks, everybody. It's a great night. It's been a great year, and it'll be great next year. So I'm going to end the stream.
See you guys. Happy New Year. See you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Happy New Year.